Hi, I'm Matthew Casey from DEFRA Plant Health Policy, and I'm here to give you an update on plant passporting. So what I'm going to go through, I'm going to give you a brief overview. I'm going to go through the content and format of the UK plant passport. I'm going to give an update on movements from Northern Ireland to Great Britain, an update on country of origin and rules around that, a bit of an update on how we're using protected zones versus pest-free areas, talk about attachment of UK plant passports in the EU, and also give a very brief update on plant passport e-learning. So just an overview on the plant passport regime. So from the 1st of January of 2021, Great Britain became a different SPS or sanitary and phytosanitary zone to the rest of the EU, which means that EU plant passports are no longer recognised in GB and UK plant passports are no longer recognised in the EU. This is because the plant passport system regards plant health assurance as well as traceability. So UK plant passport must attest that the plants that passport is attached to have met Great British health standards. So the import of regulated plants into Great Britain from the EU now require a phytosanitary certificate, not a plant passport. So just a summary of the changes that have been done to the format of a plant passport. So on the UK plant passport, there's no longer any flag. The words plant passport have been replaced with UK plant passport. Section A, that's botanical name, remains the same. We've not changed any rules on that. And section B, the registration numbers will no longer be prefixed with GB. That's because this prefix was only necessary on EU plant passports to differentiate between member states. And that, of course, with the UK plant passport is no longer necessary. So section B, section C, sorry, and rules around traceability codes remain the same as they were before we left the EU. And section D, that is country of origin, remains the same except for a specified list of plants for which we have national measures. And I'll talk about more of that later in the presentation. There is also an addition of a section E, which may require the code GB and in brackets NI. And again, I'll be talking about that and when that's needed later on in this presentation. So here's some sort of visual representations. So the only addition to the UK plant passport is section E. So again, more information on when that's applicable will be on the following slides. But as you can see, you've got the words UK plant passport, no flag. You've got parts A to E, botanical name, registration number, traceability code, country of origin, and the code GBNI when that's applicable. We no longer have protected zone plant passports. In Great Britain, we'll have pest-free area plant passports. But just like for the PZ plant passports before them, you'll have a dash instead of PZ, it'll be PFA. And then below that, you'll have the EPO code or the scientific name of the PFA pest, just as we used to have on the old protected zone plant passports. But I'll be talking about that more later in the presentation as well. So movements from Northern Ireland to Great Britain. So if you're an operator based in Great Britain and you receive a consignment of plants or plant products from Northern Ireland, which are qualifying Northern Ireland goods and they're subject to plant passport requirements, so for example, they're plants for planting, they'll continue to arrive at your premises with an EU plant passport, just as they do now. And just as they did, before the 1st of January. As these qualifying Northern Ireland goods, you don't need to routinely replace the EU plant passport on them with a UK plant passport on them. So the goods may be moved on under their existing EU plant passport unless you split the consignment and the new units, so that could be a trolley, pallet, box or bag, no longer have a plant passport attached to them. So for example, you've got a consignment of plants, you've got one plant passport attached and you split them down, there's no longer passports attached to the new units. Or B, you choose to replace the plant passport. For example, you want to exclude your supplier's details for business purposes. You want to issue a plant passport with your registration number on it. If either of those above points apply, a UK plant passport could be issued without a full examination of the plants taking place before onward movement. That's in line with the current guidance on when you need to replace a plant passport. So in the case of replacing a plant passport on a qualifying Northern Ireland good, in these cases, you must put the code GBNI in Part E of that replacement UK plant passport, and that helps maintain their identity as qualifying Northern Ireland goods. This is to aid monitoring of compliance with plant passporting requirements, including the specific provisions of qualifying Northern Ireland goods. This will help ensure that it's easily visible whether a good has originated outside of Great Britain's phytosanitary zone, but may not have undergone full third country checks, which will be important for tracing purposes in the event of a pest or disease finding. However, if the phytosanitary status of your consignment changes, for example, because traceability has not been maintained, because there is a pest or disease issue with the consignment, or the plants have been grown on, then a full examination will need to be carried out on the plants, confirming that they are fully aligned to Great British plant health standards, in which case a standard UK plant passport with Part E left blank could be issued. Some guidance on when plants have been grown on is available on gov.uk under Part D of UK plant passport content and format. So now I'm going to update you on some rules around country of origin. Currently, country of origin changes to GB when a plant has been grown on, and that's the guidance I just mentioned on the previous slide. So the two-letter code GB does apply to the whole of the UK, including Northern Ireland. So our guidance changed on the 1st of January 2021 for the following list of commodities. So that's hosts of Xylella fastidiosa, so plants other than fruit or seeds, of olive, coffee, Polygala myrtifolia, and almond, and plants other than seeds intended for planting of lavender, Nerium oleander, and rosemary. It also applies to hosts of Ceratocystis platani, so that's plants of platanus intended for planting other than seeds. And what that means, that change means that these commodities must have been in the UK for a whole year following their import before a plant passport issued for their movement can list GB as the country of origin. You can still market them in that first year, but they must be marketed with the exporting country of origin in section D of that plant passport. It's only after they've been in the UK for a year that you could put GB in section D of that plant passport. This policy does apply to the whole of the UK, including Northern Ireland. And protected zones and pest-free areas. So protected zones were an EU designation. GB no longer uses them. And instead, we now use in GB the internationally recognised term of pest-free areas, or PFA. So protected zone pests that we had before we left the European Union have either become GB quarantine pests, which are absent throughout GB, or PFA pests, which are absent in only part of GB. Commodities which are hosts of PFA pests will require a PFA UK plant passport for their movement within Great Britain. The pest codes on those plant passports remain the same as they did before, so that's either the scientific name of the pest or its EPO code. So for movements within Great Britain, pest-free area UK plant passports are currently only required regarding oak processionary moth, so that's Thaumatopoeia processionea, which was a protected zone before we left the European Union, is now a PFA. Another item that I'd like to update you on is attachment of UK plant passports in the European Union. So until the 30th of June 2022, we will allow UK plant passports to be attached in an EU member state. However, this approach is subject to ongoing review to monitor levels of non-compliance and any resulting biosecurity risk. Those UK plant passports should be in the correct format and should be attached correctly. It should be noted that this extends only to the act of affixing a UK plant passport. EU operators will not be authorised to issue UK plant passports. This means that it is the GB operator who is responsible for the first place of destination in GB of the relevant consignment who needs to be authorised to issue those plant passports and would be audited under the UK plant passport regime. It is that GB operator's registration number that goes in Part B of the UK plant passport. The UK plant passport will have no legal status until it reaches that first place of destination in Great Britain, and any non-compliances regarding the format or the attachment of those UK plant passports will be the responsibility of the authorised operator in GP, and they may prevent plants from being able to move on from that first place of destination. Finally, I'd like to update you on some e-learning that is now available. So the Plant Passport e-learning module is designed to cover all the basic tenets of passporting and is aimed at covering a wide range of sectors. So if you go on the Plant Health portal and you click on the resources section, you'll find a page on Plant Passport e-learning there. So the sections include an overview of the principles of the Plant Passport regime, those two key principles being traceability and assurance. It'll also include the scope of plant passports, registering as a professional operator, becoming authorised to issue plant passports, record keeping, attachment of plant passports, the content and format of plant passports, UK plant passports, and relevant contact points as well. The module is there to help professional operators comply with the plant passport system and make it easier to provide consistent training to personnel who are responsible for issuing plant passports. There'll be an assessment of 20 questions and you must gain an 80% mark to pass. Upon successful completion and passing of the module, you'll get a certificate which can be presented to show you understand the plant passport regime. It should be noted that plant health and seeds inspectors will still have responsibility to ensure you are complying, for example, by checking your traceability records. So going forward, the UK plant passport system will remain in place to ensure safe movement of plants within Great Britain, as well as the Channel Islands and the Isle of Man. The plant passport system has two important pillars, that is traceability and assurance. And therefore, going forward, we'll be providing more resources to better enable operators authorised to issue plant passports to meet their legal obligations regarding assurance, for example, through recognition of pests of the plants you trade in. Further updated guidance on plant passports is available on gov.uk and the Plant Health portal. And thank you very much for listening to this presentation today.